If you're watching this, you're probably a part-time PhD student who's wondering how on earth you're going to tackle this year after everything happened last year. Juggling work, research, and life while watching those deadlines approach can be a guaranteed way to burn out. So today I want to share the science behind why some people can just keep on trying while others eventually give up. It's based on Dr. Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, Why Passion and Resilience Are the Secrets to Success. I'm going to break down the 4 components and give you practical strategies you can use for your PhD run. The practical strategies come from the excellent book called Designing Your Life by Burnett and David Evans. All of this to get you back on track for your goals this year. Hi, my name is Jenny, and I completed my PhD in civil engineering at the University of Cape Town over 8 years while working full-time in Germany. Okay, first component. Interest. A part-time PhD is simply too long if you're forcing yourself every minute of working on it. Even for full-time PhD students, 3 or 4 years can be a really, really long time. According to Dr. Duckworth, you need to find genuine joy and energy from your research. But how do you do that when you're drowning in tedious literature review or mind-numbing data crunching? The answer is that not all PhD tasks are created equally. And how, when, and where you work can also impact this. And if you don't know which is which, and if you aren't exploring different ways of working, you're going to burn out fast. So here's how you figure out what's working for you and what's not. For 1 week, track all your research activities using a simple 1 to 5 rating system. This is called the Good Time Journal from the book Designing Your Life by Burnett and David Evans, where 1 is for draining and low value, and 5 is energizing and high value. Rate each task. Was the literature review session a 2 or 4? Was writing the method sections a 1 or a 5? After 1 week, you will be able to start seeing patterns. For me, I discovered that working early mornings before work were my most creative times for writing and the least amount of resistance of getting going. So I started to protect these hours fiercely, even if it was just 30 minutes. The small shift made a huge difference in my productivity. So find your high energy tasks and routines and design your work around them to blend mundane obligations with energizing work for a more sustainable approach. The second component of grit is purpose. This is the big why. Why are you doing this PhD? And I don't mean the surface answer like career advancement or I want to be Dr. So-and-so. I mean the real reason why. The one that keeps you going when your supervisor tears you apart your latest chapter. The one that matters when you're exhausted after a full day of work and you still have 3 hours of research ahead of you. That's what I want you to do. Take 10 minutes, seriously 10 minutes, and write down 2 things. 1, what are your personal life goals? And 2, what are your professional career goals? How does my PhD support these goals? Where do the PhD demands conflict with my work and family? And here's a key question. Can I create a better integration instead of just balancing? For example, I realized I could use my business trip commute time for literature reviews. And I also always carried a notebook so that I could easily make notes at any time. Suddenly, these business trips that were normally a huge delay to my PhD were actually enabling my research rhythm instead of fighting against. The third component is practice. And this is the most important step, albeit the least glamorous one. Can you do what needs to be doing, even when it's boring? Can you push through the tedious formatting and the 20th rewrite? Because that's the truth about part-time PhDs. You don't have 8-hour research days, and that's okay. But you need discipline to make those few hours a day really count. Here's my strategy. Implement outcome-based milestones with specific timelines up to your goal hand and deadline. Even if nobody else cares about these dates, I care about these dates because I want you to finish and continue with the rest of my life. I roughly planned in Excel using 1 column with dates, and I guesstimated the time each task towards finishing my PhD would take. And then I would just write the tasks in the next column and color block them. And then the third column would be comments about how I think it is going, any challenges or any other restrictions I should have in mind. For example, when my supervisor was unavailable or when I had other obligations. I would also keep a scrum board of which chapters were in what stages of my little review process. The point is you don't need complicated spreadsheets or Notion templates. You just need to know where you are at the moment and what's still coming up and basically have a map of how to get to your goal finish line. This really helped me keep myself accountable. And if you are a part-time PhD student, then you're probably not going to be surrounded by many people close by that are in a similar position as you. So it's a great opportunity to practice some self-sufficiency. Fourth and final component is hope. Do you still believe you can complete this PhD while working? Be honest, because if doubt is creeping in, then you need to address it head on. Maybe you really don't feel that it's possible, but what are your actual restrictions? In a PhD journey, you have a lot of flexibility, except for right near the end, maybe. So ask yourself if you can extend a timeline or breaking down the next milestone into smaller wins that would seem more feasible. Maybe the chapter doesn't need to be perfect by next month. Maybe I can aim for a solid draft instead. Maybe I can break Finnish literature review into review 5 papers this week. And to be honest with you, I had really many months where I did not have much hope for a successful outcome on my PhD. During these months, I just kept on trying because if I was to fail, I wanted to know that I had done everything that I could have possibly done. And if I was still to fail, then that's just what it is. I did not want to have this regret for the rest of my life of having the opportunity to do a PhD and not trying at least everything that I could possibly try. So when hope fails, you can always just rely on potential regret and hardcore discipline to get you through, at least until you find some more hope. All right, let's recap. Grit has 4 components. Track what energizes you. Purpose, know your why. Practice, build consistent habits with accountability. And 4th, hope. Believe and refrain when doubt creeps in, or just grind right through. When you come across the hard obstacles and you're feeling like you're in a torture chamber, just remember you chose this challenging path for a reason, and there will be an end to it, especially if you work consistently on it in a sustainable way. I'm wishing all of you part-time PhD students a productive and balanced year. What helps you maintain your PhD momentum? Drop a comment below and let's support each other. And if you're wondering how to get going with that writing, check out this video here where I go over some different approaches you can try out.